And here we go on this Monday evening. It is the third day of October. Can you believe it? 2022, 6 o'clock straight up. WYXR 91.7 on your FM dial. It's time for Real Talk Memphis, ladies and gentlemen. And I know many of you knew that, but for those who were the uninformed, I had to put it out there. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Very happy to be here on this Real Talk Memphis Monday. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm sure it was a beautiful day in your neighborhood as well. Temperature, I barely maybe got to 80 degrees today. No rain in the forecast for the next several days, so everything is looking good and feeling good. I hope that you have had a very wonderfully productive week, safe week, and all that kind of good stuff since the last time we communicated about a week or so ago. It's been good for me as well. Gang's all here tonight, fired up and ready to go. This is the ladies' edition of Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening, and I'm happy about that. And for the uninformed men out there, women are smarter than we are, so it's always nice to get that check. Lola is she's like co-signing on that big time, but they are, and it's always nice to get that perspective from them. And actually, I've spoken on this show not on this show, but on another show with one of our guests, who's the first guest tonight, and have never spoken with the other two. So I'm looking forward to that a bit later on. So we have a good show for you tonight, as always. I want to get to the news and notes in just a minute, but first, if you celebrated a birthday yesterday, have one today, which several of you do, or have one this week, this is your segment. This is the shout out, and nobody does a birthday shout out better than we do right here on Real Talk Memphis. So we're going to get to that, but we can't do it until I say, hit it, Lola.
Happy birthday!
Indeed, it is your birthday and several of yours birthday today. Happy birthday is going out to Tiffany Crow Dixon. Happy birthday to you. Barbara Williams celebrating today. Happy birthday. Inez Walker, your birthday is today. Happy birthday, Zellner Brown. Barbara Clemens celebrating today. Tan Lenore is celebrating as well. Happy birthday to Robin Lewis and to Jenny Smith. And last but certainly not least, and a very special happy birthday to one of the Fullview Missionary Baptist Church members. Just a tremendous guy all the way around. Happy birthday to Rory Williams, Reverend Rory Williams from our church, Fullview Missionary Baptist Church. Wishing you a happy birthday. I know they did it, the pastor did it yesterday, but today is his actual birthday. So happy birthday to you and each and every one celebrating on this day. Glad you made this trip around the sun, and hopefully we'll all be back next year so we can celebrate your next trip around the sun all over again. Happy birthday, everybody. Thank you, Lola. So in news and notes today, just saw something come across the wire a little while ago. Another 15-year-old has been charged with not one, not two, not three, but 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder and a whole host of other charges for some recent Midtown Memphis shootings. 15 years old, 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Here we go again with this city. We continue to talk about these issues, in particular what is going on with our young folks. So that is some of the latest news that came off the wire this afternoon. For you want to know more about that, go to the Fox 13 website. I'm sure all of them will have it. But man, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but the current president and CEO of MLGW, JT Young, his last day is October 14th. He'll be moving back to Florida where he came from. And in the meantime, one of the board members, the president of the board, Mitch Graves, is the interim CEO. Also, Alonzo Weaver, who's a longtime MLGW employee, will be handling those duties if and until such a time as the mayor announces a new pick to man the helm of MLGW. And speaking of, after 2 years, the community offices are back open today. Downtown, Lamar, Whitehaven, and Millington offices are now open. It has been a challenge for some to contact MLGW about their bill and any other questions they may have because of a shortage in staff. Well, they recently hired 25 new customer service employees, and they are in the process of being trained at this particular point in time. So hopefully some of those issues will be alleviated. But if you actually want to go down and see somebody face to face, you can do so because 4 of those offices are now open for business. And let's see here. The chief of the Memphis Fire Department wants a policy change in reference to yet again another crash that involved and injured 2 off-duty firefighters. It happened about 3 o'clock in the morning while they were responding to a crash that happened on I-240. One of them was released from the hospital. The second officer is still in the hospital. But again, they were blocking traffic, as you do as they were working an accident scene. And sometime during the process of that, they were trying to save a crash victim's life when they were hit by a car. And of course, this is prompting yet another call for some type of initiative, some type of law, some type of something that will increase the penalty for folks, particularly when you're dealing with an emergency situation like they were, and that they were hit. They could have been killed, but they are going to survive, which is a good thing. So we will see what happens in terms of that. 61 years ago, I don't know if it was today, but 61 years ago, a group of students broke the color barrier here in Memphis, Tennessee. It was on this day, actually today, in 1961, that 13 black first graders showed up for their first day of school at Bruce, Gordon, Roselle, and Springdale elementary schools, integrating classrooms that were previously all white until that point. And I know they had a special ceremony honoring them today as well. They were known as the Memphis 13, and they are the students credited with advancing the civil rights era for black Americans way back 61 years ago. So a topic that not many of you like to have a conversation about, which is flu season and the flu vaccine. Well, just to let you know, I'm passing information on only to the stubborn ones of you out there. Flu shots are now available at the Shelby County Health Department, all of their locations from 8 a.m. in the morning till 4 p.m. in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. If you have insurance, the shot is free. If you don't have insurance, they will work with you in reference to a sliding scale. So, once again, this is the time of year where folks, the weather is starting to change and shift and become a bit cooler and things like that. So, folks start getting sick. We don't know how bad the flu season is going to be, but it's here now, and it'll probably go to sometime around March of next year. So if you generally get a flu shot, get one this year. Also available is a booster for the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Now, a lot of folks don't think COVID's with us anymore. It's still out here, but it is not as prevalent as it once was. There is a booster that has been designed for that. Call the health department for more information, but you can also get a booster shot as well. So the Memphis Tigers football team played this weekend and won a pretty good game against the Temple University. But there seems to be an issue with folks showing up actually for the game. Another attendance was somewhere around 23,000. Now listen, in a 56,000 seat stadium, that's just not going to cut it. I mean, you can't even take a shot around the stadium because all you'll see is empty seats. 22,000 on a nice, beautiful weather day. As many Tiger football fans as we supposedly have in this city, and that's all we can muster up. That is a little embarrassing and a little shameful, and we just need to do better, period. The coach made that comment, as did the Ole Miss coach, Lane Kiffin. Last week, he thought the attendance was pretty abysmal, and he publicly called out the student body and the fans of Ole Miss to show up this past weekend, and they absolutely showed up this past weekend. The stadium was full. It was beautiful. The Rebels won, and that's how it should be. So, we got all these guys out here playing. The Tigers are undefeated, by the way. And, again, they're only averaging 21, 22, 23,000 fans a game, and nobody can quite figure out why that is the case. But nonetheless, it is the case. I'm trying to see. I think I may have missed something. But in terms of the lineup tonight, as I said, it's ladies' night on Real Talk Memphis. And my guests are as follows. Beverly Robertson is the president and CEO of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce. She'll be joining me in just a few minutes to talk about how things have gone since she has manned the helm. It's been 4 years. I heard about that today. It's been 4 years. I can't believe it. She's stepping down at the end of the year. So we'll chat with her about her experiences in terms of helming that organization, moving Memphis forward. Renee Malone is the president and founder of KQ Communications. It is a boutique PR firm. It is an award-winning PR firm, and they do an absolutely amazing job in what they do and with what they do. I've worked with them a few times. Never had Renee on the show. She's a former television news reporter, broadcaster, like myself, and we're going to talk to her about her agency and why it is so successful. And someone that honestly needs no introduction because you are very familiar with her voice. Each and every morning, if you wake up and you listen to 95.7 Hallelujah FM, I didn't say it the way they said it, but that's just me. Sherry Mackey is one half of a very, very popular duo that is on in the morning. She and Dre Money, inform and entertain us each and every morning. Lots of high energy, a very fun show. They do an extraordinary job. And Sherry is going to join me a little bit later on in the broadcast to talk about her career in radio, how long she's been there, and why she enjoys it so much. So there you go, a great lineup of guests this evening on this ladies' night on Real Talk Memphis. So we're going to take a break, and as we come back, we're going to get involved in this broadcast. Of course, you can catch us on, I forgot to tell you where you can catch us, 91.7 on the FM dial. We're also on TuneIn Live. We are also on Facebook Live. We'll be posting to YouTube. And, of course, as a podcast, you can catch us wherever it is you get your podcast. But our first break is here now. When we come back, we're going to get things started. This is Real Talk Memphis. I am Chip. You know who you are. Quick break, right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Minglewood Hall presents Lucy Dacus on Friday, October 14th. Lucy Dacus is a musician, performer, and storyteller. Her most recent album, Home Video, was named a top 10 album of 2021 by NPR Music, USA Today, Rolling Stone, and the New York Times. For more information, visit minglewoodhallmemphis.com.
Support for WYXR comes from Focal Point. Located in Crosstown Concourse, Focal Point is a Southern College of Optometry clinical facility that offers fittings with designer eyewear and eco-friendly frames. Learn more at focalpointcrosstown.com.
WYXR is sponsored in part by Indie Memphis, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Indie Memphis Film Festival, October 19th through the 24th. Tickets and more information at indiememphis.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk on this Monday evening, beautiful Monday evening in the city it is. And as I have been billing it all weekend long, it's ladies' night here on Real Talk Memphis. And of course, my first guest is someone that I have known for several years, and I've had a crush on her. She already knows that, and Howard does too. No problem with that. but Beverly Robertson is my guest, and of course, she everyone in the city knows her and knows what a special gift she is. Currently, she is the president and CEO of the Memphis Chamber, to be stepping down at the end of the year. But Beverly, it's so nice to have you on the show. Good evening.
Good evening, Chip, and I'm so glad to know where you are now. I try to follow you through your path, but your path is very circuitous. But I catch up eventually with you, and I'm glad to know you're there with Real Talk, because I think you're the right person for something that says being real, okay?
Well, thank you, dear heart. I appreciate you so much. I really, really do. Last time you and I chatted, it was at another station, on another side of town, and I had to drag you all the way out to North Memphis to come see.
But I came, did I not?
You absolutely did, and I really appreciate that. So, listen, it's great to see you and great to have you with us tonight. So, I wanted to talk a little bit. I was made known this afternoon that it has been 4 years since you took over the helm of the Memphis Chamber after the death of Phil Trenery.
Yes, 4 years, and it doesn't seem like it should be that long. But you know what? 2 of those years, I was engaged deeply in a pandemic.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
And so you had to really. So I know that when you got in, Beverly, and I know one of the things that really convinced you to be a part of this, because I know everybody was asking you about, can you please, come help us out here? And you were the right person for that position. But you had a lot of challenges to face, not just within the organization itself and how you were going to try to steer and drive motivation to move our city forward, but COVID-19 as well. Talk about some of the challenges you've had to face in the last few years.
Sure. I want to start with just saying that I was the first female and first African American to leave the chamber.
Yes, you were.
In 184 years, maybe 185 coming up very soon.
Yes, ma'am.
And that brings with it its own set of challenges. They had never had a person like me in the position. And I bring to the table my lived experiences, not just, a person who has worked in business, but a person who looks like me, who's worked as the leader of the National Civil Rights Museum in corporate America. That was very different for many people who were engaged in the chamber. And the other thing that was really significant is right after I stepped in, was intending to do a massive plan. I did talk to everybody on the team about their perspective of what the chamber's work was. And we came up with PEW as a result of those conversations, because everybody had a different opinion or a different version of what the chamber's work was. But the E is the economic development at the epicenter. W, you can't do it without a workforce.
There you go.
You got to have a trained and talented pipeline, and then you've got to have public policy, because that sets the conditions in which you operate. But the other thing is, after the pandemic struck, I had to really end up raising money to ensure the sustainability of the chamber, because 89% of chamber members are small businesses.
Oh, wow.
They could not support the chamber membership and try to save their businesses too.
That was a heavy load. That's a heavy load to walk in on and to try to reconfigure things. And and as stated, being the first woman and the first woman of color to hold that position, a lot of eyes were on you, and a lot of folks are trying to figure out, okay, so what's next? And you pride yourself in being very very purposeful in your task and how you tried to lead this organization. How do you think you've done?
I would give myself, I'd give myself, under the circumstances, probably a B plus or an A.
Okay.
And I would give it because we were such great, ready a fount of information for businesses of all sizes. Small businesses especially needed to understand how they could get loans to keep their businesses afloat. We were right there. When big businesses wanted to know about the pandemic and its impact on them, and what about how do we reopen these businesses once the pandemic was declining, and what are the legal issues in case someone decides to sue us if they catch COVID while they're on the job. So we dealt with banks to help small businesses, and we created a small business resilience playbook for small businesses. Because when you think about 89% of the businesses being small businesses, we knew that they didn't know how to navigate a pandemic. We'd never had one before. There was no playbook for that. So we decided we would galvanize the business community to advise small businesses and we've created a website. The playbook is on our website. People can access that information so that if we ever have acts of God or another pandemic, they have a ready resource to be able to refer to.
I would imagine with a small business workforce of 89%, folks are pretty receptive to that type of help that you offered them. Would I say that?
Oh, they were thrilled, and they couldn't believe that the chamber was really going out and identifying experts who could talk about, well, how do I handle the technical aspects? A lot of them weren't ready for all of the Zooming and the Teams and a lot of that. They didn't have the technological infrastructure or foundation to be able to do that. And in the middle of all of that, we created a strategic plan for Memphis that focused on three major areas. One is making sure that we could create 50,000 quality jobs by 2030. And by quality jobs, I mean jobs that pay better than minimum wage.
I've heard you talk about that.
Because people need to be uplifted. They've got to work their way out, but you've got to have the foundation for that, and that's a good job. The other thing that we want to do is attract 700 advanced manufacturing jobs, and those jobs are high-paying jobs. For every advanced manufacturing job created, we create 4 more jobs. So that is very lucrative. And then we need to make sure that we prepare 20,000 STEM graduates annually by 2030, because guess what? The future is all about STEM. If your listeners have young people who are in the system and they're not taking some science and technology, engineering, or math-related courses, they will likely have a hard time navigating the spaces of the future and also securing quality jobs that will allow them to lift themselves out of poverty, if that is where they are, or just to advance their goals and objectives.
And you've been pushing this, ever since you got in. I mean, these are your primary points in terms of how we make Memphis successful, not only now, but definitely in the future. And
absolutely. The whole purpose of the chamber is to relentlessly pursue prosperity for all, because you can't leave someone behind as others are rising. And we've done some things in terms of working with a protest to progress. When we had a protest downtown, a store window was broken. I asked the mayor if I could help. We convened activists, business leaders, and clergy to sit at the same table and asked the activists to identify the issue so their voices were heard in spaces and places that they had never been heard before. Developed a plan, were accountable for the successes of that plan, and then business leaders gained a higher level of respect for voices that they had never heard.
As you are about to prepare to move back from whence you came, how do you feel like you are leaving the chamber? Are they in a good position now to move forward, to advance the cause, so to speak, that you have championed the last few years?
Yeah, I believe I'm leaving the chamber in a much more equitable position where there will be a higher level of respect for all people that, the chamber is the voice of business. And certainly we do the work of business by attracting new investment and helping existing businesses expand and grow. But we also have to realize that in order to be able to do that, instead of having a two-legged stool of business and government, we need to have a three-legged stool of business, government, and community. Right. And frankly, the chamber is in the best operating position that it has been in 20 years as I step out the door, with a much more diverse team working to ensure the things that we have worked on continue to remain and are perpetuated long after I'm gone.
Well, I've known you a long time. You're a lady of excellence, and you demand that wherever it is that you are and whatever it is that you do. And so, we're extraordinarily fortunate to have you here. I know the chamber, it'll be missing the cog when you step away. But something tells me that your relationship with them won't be completely over.
Well, what I've said to them is, I'm not interested in sitting on the board because I will never sit in judgment of another leader. People asked me that when I left the National Civil Rights Museum, and I told them I'm not going to judge. So I don't want to be on the board because then it will almost ensure that you will ask me something that might fly in the face of the existing leader. And I don't ever want to do that. But I've told them, if you need my advice, my counsel, I'll be there, because the work that we are doing is about driving transformational change in Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis is my city. I love it. I make no apology for it. And I want to see it grow and prosper.
Beverly Robertson, President and CEO, outgoing President and CEO of the Memphis Chamber. I love you. You know how I feel about you, and so I'm just I'm thrilled for everything that you have done and will continue to do for the city that you love so much. And I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to come on the show tonight and talk to our listeners. Of course, like I said, you know how I feel about you, and we'll always stay in touch no matter where it is you are and whatever it is you do. And I'll make myself easy to find, I promise.
Somehow you always find me, and I always respond positively when you ask me to do something, because you have a heart for the community too. And that's the beauty.
Well, I appreciate that. You tell Mr. H I said hello. And
I'll do it, Chip. And the best to you, all the best to you and all that you do, and really do appreciate you.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. We'll talk down the road. Take care of yourself.
Okay,
all
take
right.
care now.
Beverly Robertson, ladies and gentlemen, outgoing president and CEO of the Memphis Chamber. And let me tell you something, man, you couldn't find a better person. From the heart, from the inside out and from the outside in. She is absolutely amazing. And her story isn't done around here. I'm sure that not too far down the road, we'll hear from Beverly again in another iteration. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what the women are doing here in the city of Memphis. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm your host, Chip Washington. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR comes from Focal Point. Located in Crosstown Concourse, Focal Point is a Southern College of Optometry clinical facility that offers fittings with designer eyewear and eco-friendly frames. Learn more at focalpointcrosstown.com.
Support for WYXR comes from our partners at Spaces Group, a certified Miller Knoll dealer. Spaces Group is a commercial furniture dealership located in Memphis, Tennessee and Jackson, Mississippi, specializing in furniture for the corporate, healthcare, educational, and nonprofit markets. More information at spacesgrp.com or their Instagram at spacesmemphis.
Minglewood Hall presents Lucy Dacus on Friday, October 14th. Lucy Dacus is a musician, performer, and storyteller. Her most recent album, Home Video, was named a top 10 album of 2021 by NPR Music, USA Today, Rolling Stone, and the New York Times. For more information, visit minglewoodhallmemphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening, and where we're celebrating the accomplishments of some of our finest ladies in town. And that goes for my next guest. Now, I've known her for some years, but I've never had her on the big broadcaster. She is a highly successful business owner, president, and founder of KQ Communications. It is a boutique PR firm, an award-winning PR firm, and pleased to welcome to the show Renee Malone. Renee, good to see you.
Good to see you, Chip. It's an honor to be on the show with you. I promise you that.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Thank you.
No, it's true.
Okay,
it's true. Right. It's true. Take all the compliments.
No.
Take them all.
She's so sweet. So listen, Renee, you run quite a successful firm, a PR firm, if I do say so myself, being very honest about it. Kind of give us a little backstory about how long KQ Communications has been in motion, and what made you decide, because you and I come from the same school of television, news, and broadcasting, but what made you decide that you wanted to start your own PR firm?
Chip, I always say business ownership chose me. I didn't choose it, right? It was just a happenstance. Truly, after transitioning out of journalism and working PR in a school system for a period of time, I started doing side gig help. Here or there, people would call and say, "Hey, Renee, can you help me with a couple of media placements? Can you help me put together a communications plan?" And over time, you're thinking, man, I'm doing as much of this side gig work as I am full time.
All right.
So it turned into a business. A couple of like-minded people joined me, and so we made KQ work.
How long has your agency been in effect?
Yeah, 15 years this year. 15 years.
I bet time has flown, hasn't it?
It has. Now the last, during those pandemic years, those went slow at first.
Yeah, sure.
Because we weren't sure what was going to happen, but God sustained us throughout, and it really ended up being a growth period for us.
One of the things that I learned in doing a little background on you and your agency is you emphasize to all who work within your agency to do things the KQ way. And I wanted to find out what exactly is the KQ way?
Great question. Kingdom Quality. A lot of people don't know that stands for Kingdom Quality. We're faith-based. We operate with integrity. And you kind of feel like when you're doing work every day, you're not doing it for man, but for God. And everybody doesn't like that kind of conversation or isn't ready for it, but that's who I am. Yeah. And I can only be authentically me. So absolutely.
And you require that of everybody that works for you, which is why now you've won a series of awards, national. You've been recognized, rather, I should say. Your agency has, by your peers. What, in your estimation, makes for a successful PR firm? Because as you know way better than me, there are many of them all across this country. Now you have two offices, one here in Memphis, of course, and the other one in Atlanta. But what makes, in your mind, someone who's been doing this for a while now, for a successful public relations agency?
Well, I can say for successful group. One is that you realize you aren't doing it yourself and that the work is supported by a team of people. And the minute you start thinking this is all in your strength is when you have a problem. But all of us really, we look at ourselves as supports. My job is support my team. My team's job is to support the clients. If they're happy and supporting clients, we're all doing good work. But it's really also keeping your word, doing what you say. We're research-based, so we don't come in and say, hey, I just think you should do it like this. We come in and do the research and then determine a strategy that aligns. And some folks just come in and just start doing work without really trying to understand the client's needs in their industry.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Renee Malone. She is the president and founder of KQ Communications, a big-time PR firm. They call it boutique. Does that mean because it's small? Is that what that means? Or I mean, what does it mean?
In the PR industry, it's like if you have 0 to, I think, 25 employees is boutique. So we're actually a boutique firm. So that's the definition of our size is we have 20 people.
When someone, well, first of all, for the uninformed, why do people? I mean, I guess you pretty much explain kind of the concept of what a PR agency does. But I mean, so I mean, when people come to you and say, "Look, we need help," whether it's a specific campaign or what have you. I mean, how do you go about? I guess once you find out what their needs are specifically, that's when you go to work. And you mentioned doing some research. Talk a little bit more about that, the process.
Yeah, so finding out the needs. Some folks will come and just say, hey, I need help. I need a PR firm, like you said. And so you really have to sit down and talk to them. What are you trying to accomplish? For some people, it really might mean they need help on social media, reaching their audiences in order to share some of the good work they're doing so they can showcase it a little better so people are aware that they are even in business. Sometimes it's about messaging and understanding how to tell their story, right? Just figuring out what is the best way for people to understand what they do. It may be a complicated service or product that they offer. So it's a variety of things. We're full service, so we offer web design, graphic design, in addition to social media management. We have digital marketing, media relations, where we connect them with great people like you. So, yeah, lots of different things that go on.
You were doing fine until that last part, but that's okay. That's okay. So what makes, and from that perspective, what makes a successful campaign for a particular company or group or organization? I mean, and from their perspective, what makes a successful campaign? I know that I would imagine it takes, depending on what the project is specifically, but I mean, what makes a successful, product at the end of the day from your group?
Great. If we wanted to say it quick and high level, it's you meet the goals, right? You do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to improve social media engagement by a certain percent and you do it, or if you're helping to ensure that key messages are shared in the right way and you do it, success. It's the goal that you agree upon, you reach it, now you have achieved that success. So that's really what we try to do. We make sure that the goal is what we believe, or think should happen, and include what the client work together and settle on one, target. So we don't have a moving target going throughout the campaign.
That in and of itself indicates to me that there has to be a lot of trust in what you do. I mean, and that does that. I mean, you've been doing this for a while now, but does that create any particular type of pressure? Because look, not all clients, are easy. You know what I mean? I mean, there are folks out there, different personalities, different styles, different ways of doing business. So I mean, you have to be pretty flexible, and I would imagine that requires quite a bit of listening, but also some serious trust on their part about you being able to fulfill whatever need they have.
That's it. You have to have mutual trust, but you know what, Chip? You also have to realize when you aren't a good fit, right? All business isn't good business, and all partnerships don't work. And so you have to decide on the front end, are we a good match? So I feel like when there's a business opportunity or a client that we might have an opportunity to get in front of, I'm looking at them like, does this work for us? They're looking at me like, will it work for me? But you have to agree that it's a good match in order to move forward. There are oftentimes I'll meet with someone and say, this isn't a good fit for me, but my colleague, like I know other businesses, PR companies in town that do similar work, and maybe they're a better fit for that person.
Yeah.
So we share, and you have to work. We don't consider any PR firms here competition. We're all in this together. We do different types of work, go after different types of clients. And so we refer each other. People will refer me, sometimes because they think it's a better fit for us.
Well, that's, and that's interesting. I hosted an event last year, the PRSA, those awards that they had last year. And and that you all were, all of the people that were represented there were for various agencies and towns and firms in town. And I really sensed no animosity at all. You all were very friendly. You were hugging each other and you were embracing, and it just seems like there's a family atmosphere, even though you're in business and business is business, but it doesn't have to be adversarial, which is just what you just said, I think.
Absolutely. Like Deidre Malone, I consider her the GOAT, right? So I have great admiration. And if someone comes and they're interested in a political campaign, I redirect them to Deidre because we don't really do political campaigns. So everyone kind of has their area that they work in. And so, there's no reason for us to compete. There's enough work to go around. We can all eat at the table.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Renee Malone, president and founder of KQ Communications, and my friend, thank you so much for taking I know how busy you are. Thank you so much for taking some time out to come visit with all of us on Real Talk Memphis tonight, and I hope to have you back in the future.
Thank you, Chip. You take good care. It was good seeing you, sir.
You too. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Renee Malone, ladies and gentlemen, from KQ Communications, one of the fine businesses here in our city. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to somebody who is a very familiar voice in the city of Memphis. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR comes from our partners at Spaces Group, a certified Miller Knoll dealer. Spaces Group is a commercial furniture dealership located in Memphis, Tennessee and Jackson, Mississippi, specializing in furniture for the corporate, healthcare, educational, and nonprofit markets. More information at spacesgrp.com or their Instagram at spacesmemphis.
Minglewood Hall presents Lucy Dacus on Friday, October 14th. Lucy Dacus is a musician, performer, and storyteller. Her most recent album, Home Video, was named a top 10 album of 2021 by NPR Music, USA Today, Rolling Stone, and the New York Times. For more information, visit minglewoodhallmemphis.com.
WYXR is supported by the Halloran Center with the Memphis Songwriters Series, hosted by Memphis songwriter Mark Eggers Stewart. Mark and his musical guests take audiences behind the music, sharing personal stories and introducing new works. Guests joining Mark on September 29th include Alicia Trout, Greg Cartwright, and Don Bryant. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
Okay, we're good. We were all both.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. And, you know, my next guest is someone else that I've known for a very long time, but she really needs no introduction, or her voice doesn't. Many of you listen to her each and every morning, along with her partner, Dre Money, on 95.7 Hallelujah FM. So, you're gonna welcome to the show. You say that, yeah, I tried in tribute to you. Sherry Mackey is our guest, and Sherry, it's so nice to have you on the show.
Thank you, Chip. It is my honor to be on the show with you. I'm a fan, so I'm like, come on, Chip.
Listen, I mean, we listen to you. Wake us up every single morning in this city. You two have an amazing show with an absolutely amazing chemistry. And you know, you and I were talking a little bit offline last week. The station celebrated its 20th anniversary, and you've been there every year for those 20 years. But you actually started before that. You've been in radio for what, 24 years? Did you tell me?
24 years. 24 years. Chip, I started back actually on AM 1380 WOOM, the Glory Station.
Oh my goodness!
And eventually went on to be a part of AM 990, The Light, and Bruce, who was over the station at the time, he decided, you know what, it's time for us to go to an FM dial. And he actually is the genius behind Hallelujah FM and the Hallelujah FM brands. And so Bruce Stimms. And so those hands are actually his.
Wow. Well, that's, you know, I mean, I don't know what categorizes the person as a legend. I would say you're a broadcast legend in this town. You've been here over 2 decades. And I'm sure when you were chronologically listing the stations that you worked at prior to Hallelujah, you took a lot of people back. Because, I mean, you know, loyalty in this town, you know, goes back a long way. And you are an award-winning radio station. You are a part of that, the Stellar Awards. You all have won, what, 2 or 3 times, have you, as best station in the market?
Yeah. So 95.7 has won 2 Stellar Awards. I've been Stellar nominated, won multiple awards and that kind of thing. As far as just me as a personality, but it is an honor. That's like the Grammys of gospel.
I was gonna say Academy Awards of gospel.
That too. We'll take that too.
I'm thinking just you need to step that up a little bit higher on that. That's a big deal. So let me ask you this.
We've done the Doves as well. We've been honored by the
Dove Awards, big time, man. And if you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Sherry Mackey, radio personality. 95.7 Hallelujah FM. And, you know, Sherry, a lot of people think that this radio thing, because it's a habit, people listen to it every day and you do what you do, they think it's easy. But it really isn't. I mean, people have discriminating taste. Gospel stations, not only here, but across this country are big, are really, really big. And first of all, I guess I should ask you, why do you think that is? I mean, I guess we're all looking for something, but the gospel audience is looking for something in particular. Talk about that.
I'm looking for inspiration, Chip, especially when we live in a society and we live in a world where so many things are happening. When you trying to navigate your way through a pandemic, and life is happening to you at the same time. When, you know, you got problems with the family, problems on the job, or, you know, you're feeling discouraged, you want some source of encouragement. You want something that's going to help you up throughout the day. And I think that's where that gospel comes in, where you get that inspiration that you need. You get that Bible verse, and it's okay to hear a song that's going to encourage you, or for that gospel announcer or personality to get on and they're encouraging you with the word of God. They'll say that right word, that right thing that you need to hear in that moment to let you know that it's going to be okay.
You know, it has really increased in popularity. I mean, meaning the gospel music and the stations. I mean, you see it now, even in terms of the commercial awards, the Grammys, you know, and things like that. It's becoming, you know, more commercialized. But I believe that is the case because it is becoming very, very popular worldwide, and people do need something. And I think there are folks who listen, in particular, to gospel stations all across this country, who are really searching for something. You know, as you said. And inspiration seems to be really the phrase that comes to my mind, as you just mentioned.
Yeah, inspiration, because that's what they want. They want to be inspired. They want to be encouraged. Chip, I think one of the most gratifying things about working in gospel radio in particular is the fact that you're at work and you're doing something that you absolutely love and that you would do for free, but you get paid for it. But when that person calls and says, I was about to give up, I was thinking about committing suicide, and you're able, while at work, to talk to that person, to encourage that person, to make them change and choose a different course. A person who has gotten discouraged in their marriage, and you're able to encourage them in that situation, or a person who maybe they're fighting through a sickness or an illness, and you're able to talk to, that's a blessing, and it's an encouragement to me.
You know, and there's a lot in what you just said. In particular, we never know what any of our brothers and sisters are going through in life, and a lot of folks, you know, in particular in the world that you are so adept in, you know, they hear a particular song or a phrase or a word, you know, that really may pick them up from a place of desperation really to a place of hope, and that really, you know, in and of itself has got to be such a blessing for you on a daily basis.
It is. It is quite humbling, actually, because you kind of puts things in perspective. It's like, me, little old me, God, you chose me to do this work. It's quite humbling, actually. Yeah, it is.
Nothing happens. I mean, everything happens for a reason. Now, the pairing of you and Dre is really. I mean, you know, I find myself listening to you all more and more because chemistry has a big role in the success of a program. You two have an amazing chemistry, and I tell you what, I've been around this world a little bit, and you know, I know real from unreal, and what you guys have is really very much real. Talk about what makes you two click as a team in the mornings.
The fact that we respect each other. Chip, the fact that we're great friends and we believe the same and we're headed in the same direction. He knows that I have no ill intent toward him, and the same, you know, song second verse with me. It's just, we are great friends on and off the air. I call him my brother from another mother. We fight, and I like to say we fight really good.
There you go. Well, you all, you know, you make it look really easy because it is really easy, you know, for you to work together. Now, how long have you two been a team?
Dre, I think, has been on the morning show now 6 years, about 6 years. He's been on the morning show, but we were friends prior to him coming on the morning show. And so that just kind of made it easy.
Yeah, I mean, it comes off, you know, like I say, it's just effortless. And I think that is to professionals doing what they truly love to do, you know, in terms of, you know, where we are. I would not ask you this question because I already know the answer. It seems as if, you know, you would be there for as long as you could possibly be at that station. I can't see you going anywhere. Is this your final destination in terms of the station and what you do on a daily basis?
I absolutely love what I do at Hallelujah FM, and unless the Lord himself says, Sherry, go move over here, I am there. I have no plans at all of doing something other than radio. Now, you know, outside of radio, I am the director of marketing and communications for a nonprofit here in Memphis, Agape Child and Family Services. But when it comes to radio, I love my iHeartRadio family.
Well, you know, we love you, and you know, and Tracy Bethay, you know, I've known Tracy for a long time, you know, as well. She's the program director over there, and so you tell her I said hi next time you.
I definitely will.
Her.
That's my girl. We talk every night.
Well, when you talk tonight, you tell her that she's on my radar too. I'm gonna get her on this show as well. So absolutely. You know, but Sherry Mackey, thank you so much for being you and for the gift that you give all of our listeners each and every morning, all the people here in the city of Memphis. We love you, we treasure you, and I've never met Dre, but tell him I said hello as well. And you know, keep doing what you're doing, keep uplifting us, inspiring us, and motivating us to be better people. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, Chip, you know, I appreciate you, man. I have followed your career, your storied career because you're a legend in your own right. Don't play.
I'm a legend in my own mind. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. But God bless you.
I have followed your career and certainly love and respect you so much, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, sweetheart. You have a good night. And I will be talking again down the road.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Sherry Mackey, ladies and gentlemen, 95.7 Hallelujah FM every morning, 6 to 10 a.m. Well, it's been a great show. This has been Ladies Night. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm looking down here on the line, and I see Pam Crittenden Johnson's watching. Michael Harris is online tonight. Jennifer Coburn Washington, no relation, is on the line tonight. Andrew Withers is checking us out as well. I know that Audrey Hill is on here somewhere. I can't see her right now. But listen, thank you all for being a part of the big broadcast this evening. And as Cell plays us out, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the audience, your support, your encouragement, your positive words. And more importantly, I really appreciate the guests that make a choice to come on the show. All I do is call and ask, and they are gracious enough to say, yes, Chip, we'd love to come on. And I hope that, we provide you with a good interview each and every time we do this show. I would ask you, encourage you, if you like what you hear and like what we do, continue to tell your friends and support the product, support what we do here. At Real Talk Memphis on 91.7 WYXR. I almost lost it there for a second. So listen, thank you again for a wonderful show. So for Sel, for Nicole, for Lola, we appreciate you. We appreciate you, as they say. Have a great week. Please be safe. Watch out for yourself and watch out for others. And if the Lord says so, we'll be back here next week. Same time, same place, and we hope to do it a bit better. So for all of us, I'm Chip, and I'm out. See you soon.